Hey everybody, I'm Zafir. Welcome back to No Love Lost 2.0. And today I want to talk about trusting your gut. Have you ever been in a situation where you had a feeling about someone? It don't always necessarily have to be bad. Sometimes it could just be you don't feel like that person should be around you. Have you ever felt like that? And if you felt like that, did you have a reason? I don't know. I definitely feel like I've had reasons to not want to be around people and distance myself, but at the same time, I didn't sit up here and just solidly just distance myself from them. Sometimes I like to give people that chance to show me different, but when they actually do what I expect of them, I'll be like, yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought you were going to be that person to me. I thought that you were going to be toxic or malicious or backstabbing and ill-hearted. But, we like to sit up here and give people that benefit of the doubt instead of just listening to our gut, knowing that truthfully that person probably doesn't have good intentions for us. So we sit up here and try to be in relations with them as friends and relationships, family members, and that could even be parents. And we sit up here and don't trust our guts and we keep giving those chances. It's called trauma bonding. I know that I used to be into forgiving people and letting them back in and letting them back in and letting them back in until I started to realize that I don't have to forgive you in order to heal, but I can forgive you to heal. It goes both ways, but I have to also trust my gut to know when to step away when something is not right for me. So you have to always put into your intuition into play. When you feel something, there's a reason why you're feeling something. Our gut will always tell us, like, if you know yourself and you know your ability to feel things and vibe with people and feel people out, then you definitely know what I mean when I say sometimes you really got to go with that gut feeling and step away. This time, I remember when I was like 16, 17, I was going to a party, walking with my friends late at night down a dark block. And I was like, yeah, we going to this party, but we got to get home. And they was like, yeah. I said, we leave. We ain't gonna get to the party till 11:30. The party probably gonna end at 3 or 4. I said, and then we gotta walk back. I said, I don't think that's a good idea. My intuition, my gut feeling was telling me something bad gonna happen. And guess what? That party got shot up, and we didn't go. And I said, you know what? I'm glad I trusted my gut. And I was only like 16 years old. It was one of those, back in the day, basement parties that people would have and throw parties. Like, I ain't gonna lie, my one friend, Desmond, he used to throw parties in a bando. like he used to then throw parties in Brentwood in a bando. Because it used to be his house, but then his family had moved and the house just was abandoned. So he would, I don't know how, he would pump that generator up and he would throw parties, have the music going, charging people to come in. And I'm telling you, them parties used to be packed out. So I that's an example of trusting your intuition and trusting your gut. And you got to stop allowing yourself to keep giving people chances. I know that I've learned my lesson with that. Continuing to allow people to be in a space with me that they should not be in. Like recently, I'm not going to say a friend, I'm going to say an ex coworker. She contacted me like, oh, hey, my daughter's promised today. And I'm like, oh, that's what's up. Good for her. And she was like, oh, her godfather promised to pay for it and give her $200 to get her nails or hair done or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Like, okay, you're calling me and telling me this. Why? I haven't talked to you in a month. And I haven't talked to you in a month because I had to keep telling you to stop asking me for stuff. Not going to help you. You need to be self-sufficient. You continue to sit here and get pregnant and have babies and have babies and have babies by your husband. I feel like this. If you have a husband, you shouldn't be asking nobody for no money. If you have and I understand men who have girlfriends, like, oh, you don't want to ask your chick for some money, but at the end of the day, if you fucked up, your partner who you are in relations with, if you are a person who has a partner who is single, if you single is different, then the situation changes. But I feel like if you have a spouse and you calling that person your husband or your wife, that's the first person you need to be going to about your needs. You don't need to be going to outside sources. And I said, don't you got a husband that you pregnant by right now? That you about, and you just talk, and I just told her, I was like, yo, you need to slow down. I said, because your life ain't together. I said, you got two of these men's kids, you got 4 kids, and you got 2 of this man's kids. This man has a whole nother woman pregnant right now while you're pregnant, and you're still continuing to be in relations with him. You became the side chick to your main dude. How does that make sense? Like, that's her business, but how do you become the side chick to your main dude? How is it that you getting fucked in the car while she getting fucked in the house? Like, please make it make sense. So I'm just like, okay, so she called me or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that's nice. And so I get off the phone with her. She texts me like, oh, her daughter's crying. I said, okay, you, like, what you think I'm gonna say? Oh, let me help you. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna say that. I just told you just a few months ago, don't ask me for nothing. And here you go again, asking me for something just by even having this interaction with me right now. So I sat up there and told her, nah, I can't do that. And then her daughter texted me like, Papa L, I don't know where she started calling me Papa L. I ain't never told this child to call me Papa L. I ain't never said this was my godchild. I was supposed to originally have one godchild by her originally. And I don't even approve that message anymore because I realized that she's not a bad person, but she is a person that she is a user. She's in her using phase. And I don't think she's a bad person because I believe if she had the ability to give, she would. But right now she's in a phase of life where she has to use. And I'm not going to be one of the people to be used. So she had texted me, well, technically, yeah, she had texted me the other day. I was sleeping. Then she called me. I woke up. I'm like, hey, my schedule, I'm busy. I'm tired. I'm rested. She's like, okay, call me when you wake up. I didn't call her back when I woke up because I didn't wake up till a few hours later. She said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you let me borrow $325 until the 3rd? I got to get this bill paid. They're here to get my shit and they won't give me until the 3rd. I never responded. And she said that at 1:21. Then she came back at 3:12 and said, can you please, I'm sick as shit. They trying to take my stuff and will not just wait until the 3rd. How is it that you are in a position to continue to have children by a man who does not support his children or you, and you accept the bare minimum as support? You think the bare minimum is support. If you can't feed your kids, you have to outsource, yet you call that your husband. If somebody is your husband or your wife, you should not have to outsource to take care of their responsibilities that they laid down and had with you. I think you need to trust your gut. I said to her, you keep talking about how this man has been broken, how he's been hurt, how his first baby mother lied to him and said the kid was his, come to find out it wasn't. But then he still went and had an actual kid with her after that situation. So that means that he loves living in toxicity and in drama. Yet you outsource yourself to your friends that you don't even realize that you're taking advantage of your friends by continuing to ask instead of do. Instead of getting pregnant again, why didn't you put yourself in a position to financially be in a better place after you just had twins, lost one, and then set up here and now you're pregnant again and you literally have 3 months to go. Now I'm not sitting here trying to shit on her, but I had told her many times over and over, please stop asking me for stuff. I'm not going to give it. I don't want to do it. I don't have to do it. And even though I may have the ability to do it, like I said in a previous podcast, you cannot allow people to empty your cup to the fact that you have nothing to give to yourself. If you sit up here and give everything away, what will you have for you? What will be yours? What will you give back to yourself? How would you take care of your own heart? And I like I told her, you're comfortable. And I always tell people, in order to grow, sometimes you have to get uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to walk into those spaces where you don't feel comfortable and where you don't feel welcome. And you have to command that attention and that power for yourself. It's okay to be scared. That is normal. That is human behavior to be scared. But if you continue to repeat the same behavior, how do you expect to grow from it? How do you expect to mature from it? How do you expect your frontal lobe to go to a new level? And I just feel like at the end of the day, you should not put your responsibilities on your friends. Your friends are a relationship, just like a relationship that you have with a partner that is sexual. But at the same time, do not put your responsibilities on your friends because you will continue to push them away. I believe that people come financially toxic when they feel like they can depend on you. That's why I tell people, do not depend on me when it comes to finances. I cannot do it. Even if I can do it, I don't want to do it because I used to be like, okay, let me give. And then when I had nothing else to give and I need, it's like I'm over here looking for the ducks in the goddamn pond and everybody done swim to the other side of the lake. So it's like, excuse me. So I just was like, nah, I can't do this no more. I can't help you. I can't put you in a situation to be better because anytime I tried to help her to make her situation better, she always reverted back to being toxically in love. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that if that's the life that she chooses to live. But as you display and continue to put your children in that unsafe space of not knowing, how somebody is supposed to be treated in a relationship, you have to understand the toxicity and the karma that's going to come back, because you're going to cause them to believe that abuse, neglect is the way of life for a woman or a man to be treated. Or it doesn't matter if you're in a same sex relationship, in a in a relationship with opposite sex. What you choose to display to your children says a lot about your character, because it also says what you will allow them to see, not realizing that that may later on one day cause them a trauma that they can't come back from, because it has put them in a place of feeling unsafe. Every time that you have to get into a physical altercation with your partner, or you have to beg for food, or have sex with your partner in order to feed your children, you are doing yourself a disservice. You are doing, and any man that will sit up here and put you in that place where that is the only way that you can take care of the responsibilities that he helped you make, that says that is not a man. So I definitely think that it goes back to self-reflection. You know, we have to sit up here and go into that mirror and sometimes have that conversation, that uncomfortable but ethical conversation with ourselves, to say, you know what, baby, you ain't doing this right. So we're going to have to reevaluate the plan, and we're going to have to reevaluate the blueprint and do this over, because this ain't working. You know, I got to self-reflect. Like, I've been doing this 30 days of gratitude. Instead of complaining, I'm trying to push forward how to be thankful. You know, that is what my goal is in this season of life, is to continue to be thankful instead of complaining about the things that I desire or that I don't have. To continue to be thankful for everything that I do have, because I am very blessed. I'm in a situation, and I have the ability to do things that I never could do before. But yet, I have caught myself complaining like, oh, I'm tired, I don't feel like doing this. Yes, I may be tired, but I have the ability and the energy to get the work done if I choose to. So I'm starting to learn to choose to put forth the effort to do more and to do my best, instead of sitting here feeling like, oh, you know what, I don't feel like doing this today. You know what, oh, I'm not in the mood, or I'm aggravated. Being aggravated should not excuse the behavior of wanting to do better. It's okay to be aggravated. It's okay to have that self-reflection and be upset with yourself and be annoyed, but you can't always put yourself down. And that's why, I always try to tell people, you got to pat yourself on the back. You got to give yourself some gratitude and some respect, because you can't sit up here and go to work and say, yes, boss, thank you, boss, and thank you, sir, and thank you for coming, and here's the paperwork. You become a yes man to life. Even if you're not your own boss, don't become a yes man to life. Sit up there and challenge yourself, challenge yourself to be a better version of yourself. And that's what I want that friend to do. Well, that's not a friend anymore, but that's what I want that person to do, because it's toxic. I don't want to be in toxicity with you. You're telling me about things that have nothing to do with me. You're involving me in situations that I've moved past. And you say that you've changed and you move forward. No, you're still in the same place. And you know what? Even if you have changed a little bit, I'm not seeing that progression. So in this season of life of gratitude and peace and comfort and happiness, you cannot be in this stage. People feel like getting rid of people because they've been in your life for quite some time, or you have had a traumatic experience together, or there's a long history. I ended a 16 years, almost 17-year friendship, not on bad terms, not on anger. Basically, the friend pretty much told me they were jealous of me. They pretty much told me being around me made them angry, because not only was it the financial success or the ability to grow as a person, it was the fact that they allowed their depression to see me as the enemy. Their depression saw me as the enemy because of my glow and my happiness. And they told me that openly and honestly. And they said, listen, I don't think I can be a friend, because when I'm around you, I'm jealous. I get upset. I get aggravated. And I said, I appreciate that your honesty is that, yes, you see that snake in the grass behavior that you have, so you feel it's best to remove yourself. I agree with you. I thank you for that. That told me right then and there, you love me more, because you knew that you couldn't be what I needed you to be to me. And what I was being to you, you could not be that back. And that's okay. But that actually, to me, shows more genuine love, to tell me that you can't rock with me because you're jealous, than to allow yourself to be around me and secretly be hating. I don't need that type of energy. I don't need nobody that don't really fuck with me around me and vibing on me and putting that energy on me like they rock with me and they low-key not really feeling me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here for that. Like, I really respect that person for that. That's one thing. I would never badmouth somebody on this podcast that openly was honest about their jealous behavior. If anything, I respect that person even more now than I did before because it allowed me to see a different version of them. It allowed me to respect them more because I'm like, damn, that's how you feel? That's what it is? All right, cool. And that's all right. I had to revert and change some things up on the wedding because they were supposed to be in the wedding. But you know what? I'd rather people stand next to me that got my back 100%. I don't want nobody around me that don't support me genuinely and honestly and faithfully. I don't need you around me if you're just going to be my yes man. I don't need you around me if you're secretly going to hate on me. We have to recognize and trust our gut. They always talk about gut health says a lot about how you take care of yourself and your body. Well, we got to learn to trust our gut and realize that every time somebody's around us does not mean they're supposed to be. So these are different situations that I have inquired over the last few months, dealing with certain people that I've been in relations with as far as friends. And then I still have old friends, like not even old friends, but old people still bothering me from years ago. Recently, this young man that keep coming on my podcast, coming on my YouTube, and coming on my husband's YouTube, and sitting here bad mouthing and talking shit, and then telling me, "Oh, I want to reconnect." I don't want to reconnect with you. Like, I don't want to reconnect with you because when we lived in New York, was supposed to hang out with him one time. I had sent him money. We were supposed to get a bottle or whatever. I had sent him half the money. He never came, never saw him. I was like, okay, you hustled me out of some money, whatever. I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, I'm good on you. And I haven't talked to them since. I've been living out of New York about almost, 2.5 years now? Been out of New York? Yeah. So it's just like, why are you still coming around? Why are you still so infatuated with me? Why are you still so infatuated with my life? I do not look for you. I do not think about you. I do not even know you, just like you don't know me. And then to sit up there and to proceed to tell me that they stole from my house when they were over my house years ago. Open and honestly, publicly wrote on a social media platform that they had stole antique dolls from my house. So my cousin and me lived together, and my cousin had antique dolls. He had like some old antique dolls, and that were worth a lot of money. And he admitted right on the internet, stupid, that he stole 3 of them. And I'm just like, okay, you want to rekindle with me, and you openly and honestly telling me right now that you stole from my house. You're a thief. You're a loser. You're a bum. Because how dare you come into my home and steal? And then not only that, you stole something that wasn't mine. If I'm cool with my family member or not, because I'm not cool with that particular cousin anymore, you don't steal from them, because I'm not rocking with no thief. And yet you still continue to get them, and they're probably going to listen to this podcast, and they're probably going to feel like, oh yeah, I finally got him. He's entertaining me. No, because I'm only addressing it now because you continue to be annoying. But you can't comment on anything now because I blocked you from all my pages, and the only thing you can do is view and listen. Thank you for the view and listen, because I very much appreciate it. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share on my channel as you hate on me. That's how I feel about him. Because you want to rekindle with me. Why? You have nothing going on for yourself. You have nothing. You haven't applied yourself, and we've been in high school over 10 years, and you want to rekindle? No, what it was you wanted to be in relations with me. I knew you were a dirty slut, and I didn't want that. So it was as simple as that. You were a dirty slut. I didn't want to be with nobody who wanted to be busted, nutted in, and breeded. I didn't want to be with nobody like that. And he thought because he was a good looking person that meant something. I told him, I said, being good looking on the inside, on the outside, do not mean nothing about the inside. Your inside is filthy, full of cum and dirty. Because you sit up here, you told me you don't use condoms, you let people bust, and you don't respect yourself. And then he had the nerve to sit up here and say he purposely farted in somebody's mouth. Now, I know there's people into that, but you did that on purpose to piss that person off. You're nasty. You're fucking nasty. So that's just how I feel about the situation. But hey, I gave him a little clout. He wanted a little clout off of me and off of what I got going on. So there you go. Make sure you listen and subscribe and share this to you know who I'm talking about, because you're going to listen to this because you've been on my YouTube every single day viewing my channel. So I just want people to realize, listen to your gut the first time. If somebody's not supposed to be in a safe space with you or be around you or be in your space, and stop allowing everybody at your home, people. Don't let everybody know where you live. Don't let everybody know your address. Don't let everybody know your movements or how you go to work, because those same people who calling themselves your friends will be the ones sitting here stabbing you in the back or doing you dirty or somehow trying to get at you because they hate and because they don't see what you went through to get to where you are. They only see the glory versus knowing the story. So, and that's real. A lot of people will only see the glory of your life and the things that are going well and the positivity, the nice car, the nice house, the nice rings, the nice clothes, but they don't realize that you had to make put a pillow down on the floor and lay on a hard floor when you first moved into your first place. They don't realize that you sometimes had to make one meal and make it stretch throughout the week because you didn't have anything else to make it. They don't realize that you had to be homeless before, or you had to be in situations where you were abandoned at a young age. People do not see people's story. They only see the glory. They only see the positive in the aftermath of the storm. Or sometimes it may not be a storm. You could just be a blessed person who comes from a wholesome place in life and you're doing well. And people will still hate on that. You have to learn to trust your gut, people. Make sure you subscribe to No Love Lost 2.0. We're on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and we're on Amazon Music now. So you guys better check that out. Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We are streaming on a lot of platforms, and the numbers have continued to go up. I am so thankful. Season 2 is going off to a great start, and I want y'all to remember one love.